Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's show. Yeah, excuse me a little bit here. Tonight, I'm going to talk about anger and accusations. Now, the reason this came up was twofold. Uh, Let me check something out. I've got to do something real quick. I'll be right back. So be patient. Okay, I'm back. I just had to do something real quick. Uh, Yeah, I had to mute myself, Levi. I had a monitor on, and I was hearing myself, and it's distracting. So I went ahead, turned that off. So now let's get back to the task at hand. Um, I had gotten into a bit of a Twitter debate because um, the task force or whatever they called themselves had sent me a notification on Twitter having to do with the so-called accusations. And I'm trying to find that, but I'll do that a little bit later. Oh, here we go. All right, let me put this up. Now, she put this up, and it had to do with Matt Gaetz, who has been in the news recently because he has been accused of being a pedophile. And what usually happens when somebody's accused of being a pedophile is the task force attacks them for being a pedophile. But strangely enough, they didn't do it in relationship to Matt Gaetz. Now, an individual was arrested for trying to blackmail Matt's father, and Matt took it upon himself to say, well, this is proof that the charges against him are false and he has been vindicated. And that's not exactly true. He's been vindicated of this particular instance, sort of. Now, there is a former tax collector here in the state of Florida. As a matter of fact, it's in the neighboring county who was charged. And as you recall, I was downtown covering the event, and he took a plea deal, and he is going to cooperate with the federal government. That investigation into Matt Gaetz has not been completed. So, as far as Mr. Gaetz is concerned, his troubles are not over. Now, this is a rather interesting coincidence. Today, uh, or actually last night, Task Force had put up a video, and once again, she has accused me and the usual crowd of being child traffickers, child murderers, and all of that. And I said, well, why don't you retract that false accusation against me. And we did our usual back and forth. And task force has yet to retract anything, even though task force knows that their accusations against me are wrong. Well, imagine my surprise when someone anonymously sent me this link. And basically, it says that police are looking for a Minnesota couple who are on a cross-country crime spree. Now, what's important to set this thing up is that Timothy Holmseth recently posted a short video of him presumably going to the Pentagon, not the actual Pentagon, of course, but to a nearby parking lot. And that was the extent of it. And so I went to the article in question, which is on something called Before It's News. And it made for some interesting reading. And it reads as follows. Federal authorities in Washington, D.C. are seeking the public's help in tracking down 2 suspects who are believed to have kidnapped at least 5 minor children at gunpoint in separate incidents over the course of 4 days within blocks from the Pentagon, Washington, D.C. Washington. D.C.'s police department is seeking 2 suspects, Timothy Charles Holmseth and Randy Erickson, who approached each victim at gunpoint in the late or early morning hours, forced them into vehicles, and made the victims perform sexual acts, and then ordered them to withdraw money from nearby ATM machines before letting them go. The first incident occurred around 10:30 a.m., August 24th, police said. The victim, whose age was 15, was in the area of Cochran Street Northwest and 13th Street Northwest when the subjects approached and one of them flashed a gun. The other forced the victim into a vehicle. They made the victim strip naked and drove the person to multiple ATMs and withdrew funds from the victim's bank accounts, police said. They then let the victim go and fled from the area. The first incident occurred about 10:30 p.m. August 24th, police said. Okay, let me... Okay, for some reason that slide was put up twice. At approximately 11 p.m. Wednesday, the suspects kidnapped a different victim in a similar fashion, with one person showing the handgun and demanding the target get into a car. They allegedly forced the victim out of the vehicle naked after getting the person's bank account information and later withdrawing money. Hours later, just before 1:15 a.m. Thursday, the subjects flashed multiple handguns in the area of 14th and I think that's Allison Streets and sexually attacked the victim when he tried to get away, police said. They pulled him into a nearby vehicle and took his belongings and bank account. All right, I'm gonna. And basically, it's, here we go. And bank account information. They allegedly took him to numerous ATM machines where they took money from his account before ultimately letting him go. Friday passed without incident, but the suspects carried out 2 gunpoint kidnapping robberies on Saturday. The attacks were similar in nature to the previous instances incidents from across the country in which the suspects abducted their victims at gunpoint and transported them by vehicle to nearby ATMs, police said. They subsequently sexually abused the minor victim each time. Timothy Charles Holmseth and Randy Lynn Erickson are wanted fugitives from the state of Minnesota and have been on the run for a few months now, traveling the country, eluding law enforcement. Now, I do not know who wrote this article and how it got on to the website in question. The fact remains that these accusations are out there, should be investigated by law enforcement, and according to the article, apparently that's what's going on. So at some point, maybe we'll get the answer as to the truth of the matter. But if true, this might explain why these two are gallivanting all over the country. It's not for anything other than what may be alleged in here. As they say, the truth will come out in the end. Now, this is not the end of this. Let me see if, hopefully I brought this in here. There was another article in the same paper, and it's going to be a little hard to read here. So what I'm going to do is, while I leave this up, I'm going to see if I can get a better screenshot of that. But this points out that accusations are easy to make and hard to disprove. Now, I did not write this material. I did not suggest this material. This was done independently by an anonymous, unknown person or persons. So depending on the net result of this, these people will either be convicted of the crime or they will be proven to be the victims of false articles. Hard to say. Okay, I found what I'm looking for. Now I got to figure out how to download it. And this wants to download it as a page. So we'll do this. But as I said, today in their posting over on BitChute, they've accused me of a lot of things, and I'm going to go over to that website in just a minute, and I'm going to tell you what is written there. And they also said that people should contact the police department investigating Summer Wells' disappearance and give them the information about the people on that list that they have. So, all right, I'm going to be bringing this slide in here. And this one's better readable. And this also appeared in the Before It Is News paper, as I showed on the previous slide, and it reads as follows. Hello, I am Phil McConnell's son, Cole. I am trying to set the record straight for my father. Timothy Charles Holmseth, Randy Erickson, Christopher Hallett, and Pendergrass schemed against my father, got him into trouble, and then took over his YouTube channel. They also stole money from my father and my family. Since my father cannot speak the truth, I am speaking it for him. Everything I publish is the truth about these people who hurt my father and my family. Time to expose the true criminals. So now we have both anger and accusation by people against Timothy Charles Holmseth and Randy Erickson. Now, this is someone that has signed this article as being Cole McConnell. Now, it's going to be up to everyone to make up their own mind. I don't know what to make of this. I am merely reporting it. And I honestly do not blame you for not believing it, Martha. But this is the problem. Tim Holmseth has been putting stuff out for years, accusing me of all kinds of things, and he refuses to retract any of it. There have been people that have come out in my defense and said, no, the accusations against me are false. They have confessed to actions that pertain to accusing me of various things. And Timothy Charles Holmseth and Randy Erickson refuses to take this exculpatory evidence into consideration. Now, in the BitChute channel that has the following headline: Tip for Tennessee Bureau of Investigation on Summer Wells, Craig Sawyer's Kid Finders. Now, this is saying that the accusation starts with Craig Sawyer. And this is what the operator of this channel wrote in the accusation that is contained therein. Summer Wells did not just vanish. Evidence shows there is an organization behind it. The Pentagon Pedophile Task Force has identified a massive global enterprise that is harvesting humans. The exposure began with Haley Cummings in Florida. Here's what President Trump knows. Now, notice that they are declaring that President Trump has the following information. They are elevating their importance to knowing and collaborating with former President Trump. Now, the rest of this is real interesting. The Putnam County Sheriff's Office in Florida is reportedly running a human trafficking operation that involves police, deputies, city leaders, and church members having sex with children. The sheriff's office is attempting to cover up the truth about missing child Haley Cummings because they are involved with the CIA / FBI operators that kidnapped Haley. The kidnapping involves a group called the CIA Finders and then XIVM, which includes Mrs. Bicasio and her husband, Judge Michael Kaplan, John Riggin, who is deceased, a.k.a. Bob Hammer, which is false, Jeremiah Regan, William E. Stubbs, a.k.a. Cobra, Leanne Kruger, Levi Page, Alexandra Goddard, John Taylor, William Murtaugh, me, Tina Church, Ashley Cooper, Craig Randall, Sawman Sawyer, Nancy Grace, of all people, and many, many, many others. Well, Valentine's Bride, the problem is that what is here on the BitChute that I just read is not satire. This is a direct accusation. And if you want to say, yes, you, Levi, you and me are accused of being involved in this stuff. And this video was just made today or yesterday. It's a new video. Actually, there's more videos that have been made, but they target me extensively in this video. And it's the same video. He uses the same material he's used against me for the last 12 years. He is obsessed with me. He wants to see me killed. And, they don't care if any of us are killed because of what they put on these websites. And she comes in on Twitter with this thing about Matt Gaetz, yet she publishes this crap about everybody. And, this is where it gets back to okay. Let me go over. I'm going to take that off the screen. But, you can take from it whatever you want. If it's true, not true, maybe, definitely. We don't know. But, they don't use those qualifiers when they talk about any of the people that they accuse. They profess that everything they say in their accusations are true. And the damage that is done by the rantings of these people is quite profound. I've suffered economically because of what they've done, and they don't seem to care. Their only suggestion is that I should get a job at Walmart. And I've explained why that's not possible, but they continue on it anyway. And Task Force last commented to me 6 hours ago. She said nothing about the false accusations against me or anyone else for that matter. She refuses to retract her statements. She refuses to take the videos down. And she continues with this stuff. And this is the problem here, is these people just cannot tell the truth. They refuse to do so. And so this keeps going. And, I don't know what the answer is. You can't sue the people because, number one, Tim Holmseth is broke. And you can't find them to serve them any legal paperwork of any kind. That's why they're on the run. They do not want to be sued. So they avoid being sued by not giving out a legal address. They claim to have a lawyer because, remember, these people are wanting to sue me for $1 million. And there hasn't been a lawyer named yet. I guess they're keeping it a big secret. I could not respond to the attorney because there was no lawyer provided. So it's once again is probably another one of their lies. And so they continue on and continue to make these lies. Now, the thing you have to understand about websites like Before It Is News, they don't qualify anything on their website. It's the same with BitChute. People are allowed to put stuff up there. They consider it citizen journalism. They put the responsibility for whatever is put on their website squarely on those who publish it. And so you cannot say that Before It Is News is satire, because the people that are posting on these sites are dead serious about what they're posting. They are not kidding, especially if it is Phil McConnell's son that is writing this stuff. There's no way to confirm this. I'm not going to bother the guy. It's up to him. If he sees this material being published in his name, then he is going to have to do something about it. I don't have a name to give anybody. This was an anonymous post that showed up, and I have no way of tracing it. And task force is declaring that anything written about me or any videos about me is true. And using the task force PPTF standard of truth, we must then believe that anything in that article that I quoted is also true. That there is a manhunt going on. Well, you may not be reading the material, Martha, but other people are. They have thousands of people on their BitChute channel. They have a very forceful following, and some of the people are violent. There was a post put up on let me get back over into my other area here, see if I can bring this up. Okay, there's a file I'm looking for. This is another one of these was sent to me, and I'm going to have to, it didn't transfer over. But it gives you an idea of something that is going on here with these people. Okay, let's see if what we can do here. Now, the first part of this, it's actually in two parts, but it reads, "This is dumb. Where is Summer Wells? Your time is limited. I don't want to kill you. I want to see you die on live TV after you're caught. God is watching you, Haley Cummings, Nexium Kimpacazio." This is what Tim Homseth has incited people to think. And it gets into this. I'm going to see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I'm trying to get the entire thing in here, and for some reason it chopped it off. Okay, this time it might have come through. That did the same thing. I don't understand what's going on with this particular, because I'll have to read it off the original source. The second half of this, okay, oh, I see what happened. It came through twice. Okay. Firemen, I don't know why they still have a Twitter account. Twitter doesn't seem to be willing to enforce the rules with these people. And of course, BitChute has no rules. So you don't know what it takes for Twitter to enforce their rules. Now, if they see that there is money coming in from these obviously QAnon posts, then if they have to, I just completely lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys. That's what I get for reading the chat. But anyway, because people are commenting in the room, and I'm just putting them up as they come about. But BitChute does not control content, and apparently neither does Before It Is News. And so everybody has to make up their own mind as to who they're going to believe. And since Tim and Randy are preaching to the choir, they are going to believe them before they believe me. Well, Timmy has not, as far as I know, attacked his family, except the mother of his children. Everybody else has been attacked. The main reason he hasn't attacked his sister is it's reported that she supports him. And I believe his daughter that had his grandson supports him. Other than that, I don't know what other dynamics are. I know the key to a lot of things about Tim Homseth is in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. But that's for another day. But, this is what I tried to get through to Randy, that be careful making accusations, because maybe somebody's going to start making accusations against you, and you're going to run into the same situation I am, and that you're having to go around and fight these battles. Now, as if anybody writes any more of this stuff, or if I get wind of it, and I will report it with a disclaimer that it's up to the reader to decide. But it just seems rather odd that incidents are taking place in areas that they have been. Now they are in, reportedly, Tennessee, where Summer Wells is missing. What is he doing there other than taking a picture of himself in front of a book or behind a book? That all-important book of his, because that's what he does. He runs around taking pictures of himself in front of signs holding up his book. And so, did he contact people in the Wells family? Has he talked to John Wells? Has he given them theories that people are eating babies and sacrificing babies and all this stuff? Well, the problem here, Martha, is that if Homseth is on the witness list by Field McConnell pleading no contest to the charge, if that's what he actually winds up doing, there will be no trial. The judge will adjudicate the case, more likely finding Field McConnell guilty. There will be conditions or punishment of some kind, possibly, that will come out on the 13th, and that will be the end of everything. So this particular instance, Timothy Homseth, Randy Erickson, and the others are off the hook on this case. So they're damn lucky in that respect that Field has allegedly taken this route, that he is going to plea nolo and be done with the case. Now, we are 13 days away from finding out what's going to happen with Field McConnell. And all the armchair jurors out there are placing their bets. Kirk Pendergrass is saying that Field McConnell is not going to be charged with anything. And he even came out and said that the prosecution is going to plea nolo contendere. And that's not how this works. But, all we can do is wait and see exactly where we're going to go here. I would suspect, however, that Kim Picasio is not about to let Field McConnell off lightly. She has the power to accept or reject the plea agreement. So once the decision comes down on the 13th, then we'll have a clear understanding of where we're going. Now, I would suspect that no matter what comes out of the court, Field McConnell is going to have to abide by the restraining order protection, whatever you want to call it, that got him in this situation in the first place. And if he was wise, he would heed everyone's advice and leave Kim alone. As there is light at the end of a tunnel now. We're seeing the end of this chapter in Field McConnell's life. And Field McConnell would be advised to simply take what's been dealt him and move on. Now, is he going to have the sense to do that? Who knows? He's got people around him that do not have his best interest at heart. Pendergrass being one. These people are in this for themselves. And they have no dog in the fight. They have no stake because whatever happens to Field McConnell is not going to affect them, or so they think. But, they may be in for a surprise. That's all I got to say. Because there might be underlying facts that haven't been reported due to confidentiality or other things that go into this, which begs the question as to how Kirk Pendergrass found out about all this in the first place. Because the details of the plea agreement are not allowed to be known until the hearing itself. Everyone was instructed, defense, prosecution, victim, so on and so forth. Everybody was instructed not to disclose the details of the plea agreement. That would come out. Welcome, Wien. For some reason, you have me blocked. I was trying to get a message to you, and I can't because you got me blocked. So as soon as you unblock me, I will send you a message. It's private. Martha, what I am saying is the sister is supporting his point of view. I do not know for certain if she is providing him with any money or other material support or even food and lodging. It has been uh, alleged that Randy Erickson is paying for his living expenses. It is alleged the two of them are traveling together, and so on and so forth. I have no proof of that, of course, but it would make sense because I was wondering because I went to send you a message and I was blocked. Um, so if you have my email address, you can drop me an email and I'll leave it here for you. And I'm passing on a message for another party. And so, because I can even, we'll work it out. But, at your earliest opportunity, just send me an email and with contact information, and I will pass that on to the person who is seeking you out. And, you two can decide what you want to do, with the information that he has or she has. I don't know the gender. Now, I am going to be going on for about 15 minutes or so, and then I'm going to cut this off because the only reason I came in here was to talk about this particular subject. I had a different subject in mind, but I'll probably do that on another night. I got this information about what is alleged with Randy and Timmy and this thing about her and him not wanting to retract the lies against all of us. And so I thought it was rather hypocritical that she's whining about this thing with Matt Gaetz. And on the very day that she whines about Matt Gaetz, she's putting up false and defamatory accusations against all of us who are part of our little group. A group that is out for truth, that want to end this constant harassment of all of us. Well, you know more about that than I do, Martha, because I don't know anything about his siblings and whether or not they would support. That's a good question. There has been no reports of him doing so. Now, I would suspect that they're going to come out with a video and claim that they have met with Mr. Wells. But all we're going to have is the proof of the video if one ever goes up. The latest video that has been put up by them has nothing to do with Summer Wells. Let's see. How does CDC already know kids are going to be paralyzed in the next 4 months? Well, I didn't know that they had made that statement. And then another video, Fauci's mass genocide. So they have moved on from this Summer Wells thing, at least for now. They did 2 videos on the first and 1 video on the second, which is kind of interesting because it's not the second yet here in the United States. So they must be going through an overseas server. Or BitChute is. I don't know what time zone they're using unless they're using UTC, which would be a copy. Oh, he probably gave him the book, John. He would rather give the book for free and let people read it then try to sell it, and people saying that we don't want your damn book. So he says, here's a free copy of my book, read it, and so on and so forth. They've been doing this all over the place. I don't think they have sold one book. They're giving it away. And, that's a hell of a way to promote a book. You just give it away. And he's only got like 500 copies of the book. That's the publisher, or the printer, I should say, I think said that they printed 500 copies for him that he paid for. Self-publishing a book and printing your book is expensive. And so he's out quite a bit of money. At the very least, he spent $1 a piece on these books. So you're looking at $5,000. Well, yeah, John, that's what I suspect, that they're routing it through foreign servers. The thing that I'm kind of scratching my head at is that BitChute has its own time zone register. So I would think that if they're coming in to BitChute, they would be going by BitChute servers. But I could be wrong. BitChute may have a way of getting everybody in on their own timestamp. But, that's either here or there. The fact of the matter is that these are current videos within the last 30 hours of where he is accusing all of us of being involved in these various organizations. There's no probability to it, fireman. That's how he gets his material. He's getting it from the dark web, and he's getting it from these other idiots. And, then he'll take current events in the news and he alters it to fit his narrative. So he's, anything that gets him attention, he'll go for, especially when it is on this QAnon narrative. He is full into QAnon, as are anybody else around him, and they buy this garbage. And I find it interesting that there is a QAnon story that Tim Homestead is not covering, but I will be getting to that particular story on Friday. There have been some developments in that particular case, which is why I am not reporting on it right now. I figured, it's better suited for my Saturday murdathon if I go on the air. And whether or not I go on Friday is going to depend on a number of things. I'm running into a scheduling situation again. I normally do not live stream on Wednesdays, as it's one of my busier days, but I had an opportunity to squeeze this material in, and so I did it. Okay, Martha, I'm not. Is this his sister or Field's sister? Because I know Field McConnell attacked his sister viciously, called her a traitor, and all this stuff. So I'm not sure which one you're talking about here as far as sisters. It was my understanding that Timmy's sister goes along with his stuff, which is, it's an all in the family thing. Well, anything's possible. This is such a screwy situation with these two. in the entire group, actually, and so forth. Uh, Now, I had talked about this before. When Field McConnell has a chance, after all this is over, to think about what has happened, he's going to realize he was played for a fool, and has wound up paying the price for being taken a fool. That, everybody's gotten away with everything. Phil McConnell got left holding the bag. Everybody else, everybody else is having the time of our lives, and Phil McConnell has now got nothing but trouble down the road. He's got financial situation he's got to deal with. He's cost his son a lot of money, probably the equivalent of a college education for Cole's child. And there's no telling what the other siblings think about all this. I mean, he does have more than one sibling. He missed his wife's funeral. He was not able to leave the United States. She was buried over where she was born. So he missed that, thanks to these people. And, that's... and they don't care. They use Field as a way to make money, a way to get fame and attention. And so well, Tennessee Lights, there have been two stories. Randy Erickson took credit for introducing the two of them, and so has Kathy, probably the most loyal person that Field has around him. So the point of the fact is that several months before he wound up in the jam he was in, he was introduced to Timothy Homestead. We have no idea where Homestead is. He could be anywhere in the United States except the states of Minnesota and Florida. He could be up pestering the family of Summer Wells, or he could be running off to barge into something else. It's hard to say. He puts up these short videos of him holding up his book, and then he disappears. And the only time you see him again is when he's found a new place to stand in front of a sign or something else and hold up his book. That's all he does. Here we go with that. Agent TN Man or Woman. It's... who knows what he's doing and where he's doing it. But, whether or not those articles are true that I read tonight, it does have a hint of truth there, because it's coincidental that they show up in certain places and these crimes are happening. And she's got him on a very, very, very short leash. And I don't know if Timmy has any freedom at all. You don't see him doing any live videos. You don't see him making any videos at all, except for these short videos where he's either on a short drive, or he's holding up his book in front of a sign, or he's in front of a courthouse. That's all you see. Nothing of any substance. I mean, there's the short article, but he may not be writing these articles. There, he has a ghostwriter. And, he may have got himself in a situation that he can't get out of right now because he can't afford to. This could be the Helsinki syndrome or something to where he's stuck. Tennessee lights, I've heard the same thing. I have heard that there are people working with Field McConnell and information is getting to Field that he does not like. I don't know who David Hawkins is, but it is alleged that Sarah Dunklin is, involved in a lot of things. A lot of people are quiet tonight over there. But, as I begin to wrap this up, I would just bear in mind that we're not going to have the answer to Field McConnell until the 13th. If anything develops before, I will let everybody know. Leanne Sarah Dunklin is a woman from Alabama. No, it's Arkansas. Excuse me. She is deeply involved in Republican politics, and it is alleged that she was one of the people who was involved with Cynthia Abzug when she was on her little tour of the United States, and that Cynthia had actually showed up and talked to Sarah Dunklin and other people. And so, that's where we stand at the moment. Now, Cynthia's trial is coming up in January. It is supposed to start the 10th of January and last all week, basically the same as it was supposed to this last round. There is a hearing coming up mid-September that I believe has to do with the custody issue regarding both the daughter and the son. I think that she is going to lose custody of both of them. And if there is going to be visitation allowed to at least the daughter, that is going to be strictly controlled by the state of Colorado. But we will have to wait until that date to see what the facts are, and it may be difficult to get facts because this is a case involving a child, and generally those cases are not available to the general public. So we're just going to know that there are 2 hearings, and that's going to be that. So now, and the Neely Blanchard case is not going anywhere yet either. The dates that I reported on previously are still in effect. The latest document that was posted in the trial docket is locked for the time being. It had to do with a interview with the coroner's office, which presumably is going to get into detail about what happened to Chris Hallett. And there's also another issue with the court approving or not approving her expenses for a psychiatrist that is an expert in insanity pleas. So that's where we are on that situation. And I understand that there was a rumor going around that Mr. Wells had been arrested, and a bulletin came out from Web Sleuth that that is not the case, that he has not been arrested in regards to the disappearance of his daughter, Summer Wells. And as for the other case where the father has run off with his daughter, there is nothing new on that one either. Well, one can hope, John, but we're not going to, we have no way of knowing that. All we know is there's a nolo con, there's been agreements made with all parties, and if the judge approves it, we should know a few hours after the hearing, if it's going to be an off-site hearing, what the decision's going to be. I'm waiting for some information about how the hearing is going to be held to determine whether or not I'm going down there. My plans right now are to go to Fort Lauderdale and attend the hearing. If anything changes, I will let everybody know. But one way or another, I am going to find out what the result of that hearing is. Because, we've all, kind of gone down a long road when it comes to this, and I want to try and get any information out as soon as possible. And so we're going to see what happens. Well, this is something I didn't know. I didn't know Dunklin had met him over in England. This is something new to me. So I guess as time goes on, we'll find out certain truths about how all this came about. As someone said in a tweet, the truth shall come out in the end. And I firmly believe that is going to happen, that we are going to get to the truth of all of this eventually, one piece at a time. The truth about Field McConnell's plea agreement will come out on the 13th, and other truths will start to come out as well. Because if this plea agreement is anything like I think it is, I don't think a lot of people out there are going to be happy. And it's going to be Tim Holmseth and Randy Erickson who are not going to be happy with the result. They may pretend to be, but I don't think they're really going to be happy. Well, 2 years is a long time to put into nonsense like this, and I do appreciate the fact that you have researched it. But, it's, we're going to find out through this major milestone what is going to happen on Monday the 13th. It's too bad it wasn't Friday the 13th. That'd be more appropriate. And after that big milestone, it's hard to say what happens. I think a lot of people may be surprised. And, like I said, there's going to be some people that aren't going to be too happy with what comes out. And I see we got a few late arrivals. Well, hello, late arrivals. You're coming in just as I may be ready to log out. But, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I do appreciate everybody coming in. You can watch the replay to catch up on anything that you missed in the previous time. I would appreciate it if everyone who has not done so, subscribe, do hit the notification button, because things are going to be happening here in the next few weeks and few months, and I'm going to do my best to try and present these things to you. I am going to be following at least one more case because there's a certain factor here that's important that needs to be brought out, and that's probably why this case has not been talked about. And so I'll be doing that. And that case I will probably discuss on my weekend murdathon. More likely Saturday. I don't know if I'm going to be broadcasting Friday or Sunday. It depends on anything that happens between now and that, and any of this stuff. And so, thanks everybody for coming in. Have a good weekend, or have a good week, I should say, because we are through our hump day and going downhill to the Friday where everybody that works most of the time gets the weekend off to do weekend things. We got Labor Day weekend coming up, so should be interesting. And so with that, this is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1, signing off, and have a good one. Good night, all.